Welcome everyone to the Archangel Michael message by Marcia McMahon. And this is a meditation preceding the New Year's message. And before I jump in to my predictions and my meditation, and then at the end we'll have a brief message from John Lennon if there's time. Maybe I'll do that first, but I do want to mention some of the things that are coming up for me in the new year. And one of them is a new Mary Magdalene course that I've designed, and that's going to start the second week of January on a Sunday and a Saturday, the 17th. And then I'm going to be teaching Reiki level 1 and 2 in a combined course, and that'll be... So anyway, that I just wanted to mention is coming up, and you may want to check back in the Circle of the Rose or your email for updates on the Magdalene course and the Reiki course. And then, you know, I have a feeling that this is not an accident, that John's message dropped right in front of me when I said I was going to put it at the end, because AKA John Lennon, he has a way of working with Spirit that tells me that he wants to be first. And he's always a big ham. And he was on my show, The Peaceful Planet, which I managed for a long time. So anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and holiday blessing of your family and friends, and that you're all doing well. Because it can be hard if you've had a loss, and it can be hard if you have, say, difficult relatives in the family that politically don't agree or some such. So the holidays are tending to be joyful, but they can be stressful. So it's my gift to you this day of Archangel Michael coming through, and also John Lennon coming through. And he came through in early December with his day of remembrance on December 8th. So I'll cover John because he's hinting to me. So I have to follow Spirit. So anyway, I'm saying hello, John and George. I've got that message, that you had a message, and I was having a dream about reading notes from John in front of a much larger audience. And I was being totally overwhelmed with people, like Beatlemania. And John is saying, "Oh, Marcia, my love, it's been so long since we've spoken. George and I are putting on the children's concert for Christmas, and there's quite a lot of people milling about here. We've been practicing in the studio, and a short play that Lady Diana has written, and it will be performed near Christmas time, and it's called Love. And we send honor greetings to fans, George and I. As you know, we are called the Half Beats here, and we've been performing with other stars. We really enjoyed being present in the studio with Paul and Ringo, as they did Now and Then. That song I had written with them, and jam sessions that we had had previously, and I do confirm that they were in the audience, in the recording studio with Ringo and Paul again. So my song that I had written with them in the last jam session we ever had as the Beatles. I would encourage all the listeners to hear that once again. I want to thank everybody that gathered at the Strawberry Fields yesterday, as they do each year, and let them know that I am here in spirit, but not in form, but I'm still doing all the music for world peace that I can. I am well now, and I'm sending all my love to my fans and family. George is also working on the sitar with Ravi Shankar once again. Then we have other performances, namely Elvis at the top of the list. He seems to be very much on top again these days, and very popular on the other side with people here. I would like you to see you reading out my messages at the book signing. If you could put a little word out how you're going to read my words from the other side, it might help your audience. Marcia, well, I can't imagine, but it must have been like I can't imagine what it must have been like being a Beatle and having all that mania around you and swarm you all the time, because that's what was appearing in my dream. And I felt so overwhelmed I had to leave. And I had to read your words on the Beatles paving the way to the Ascension Energies. That's my favorite from your book, Notes from John, Messages from Across the Universe. So this is the book that we're referencing, and there is a message about the Beatles and Ascension and how they were paving the way for the Ascension Energies, which John confirms. Notes from John, Messages from Across the Universe. Yeah, I loved all your messages from George and I. We'd like to hear a bit more from you in the new year, love. And also, we send our thoughts to all the people, the troubled spots of Earth, and especially the Ukraine and the Middle East. Remember love, remember peace, imagine love, imagine peace. This is your friend coming through, John Lennon. So, happy Christmas, P.S. So that's a nice little short and sweet message from John. And I hear from him now and then. And James Murray does all the music. He did it with Robert Murray at The Stars Still Shine. And you can see their music there. And maybe we'll add part of John's music to the total production when we put this video together later. So now I'm going to bring forth a little meditation with Archangel Michael to prepare the way, and then I'm going to bring the predictions as the second part, and it will take a little break in between because the predictions are a little intense for this year. And this year, 2026, is going to be a kind of a very turbulent year, geopolitically, earth changes, and in every other way, it's going to be shattering people's illusions all over the place. And also, people are going to be involved in earth changes. So there's a lot of things coming our way. So I hope that you can benefit from the meditation ahead of time and then tune into the predictions with more grounded space and feeling that you're actually chosen as one of the light workers here on the earth plane to participate in the ascension energies and bring your energy into the higher vibration of ascension and participate with that, knowing that you are still here for a reason and you are being protected in every way as we go forth. So just bear that in mind. So anyway, I'll start. And you may want to take a deep breath, and then we're going to do a chakra guided meditation at the end. And it's very brief, but just to prepare you and prepare the way for the entrance of Archangel Michael into your living room. Invite him in. He's the biggest angel in the whole angelic realm, and he works for the light, and he works for the light of Christ and the Christ light. And he's coming forth now, and he's saying, "My beloveds, we are gathered here to increase the light quotient of Earth and our light at this special time of year, when the Christ energies and the light magnify the potentials and the goodness of people for the new year. Sit down and do your personal goals for yourselves and the way of aligning us perfectly with the soul's purpose and the divine will and the virtues of your area that you are personally working on." So we all know where we could work on our personal goals and our personal perfection as we kind of ascend the staircase of the ascension energies. So before I go forth with my predictions, which are maybe a little upsetting or challenging for this blessed year of 2026, know that you as my chosen will be protected in every way. We ask that you send in and settle in and begin journaling for what is it you wish to accomplish personally in your goals for 26. It is a new relationship, a new friendship, a new home, a new location, a new spiritual growth tool or a healing tool that you've been working on. Whatever it is, call it forth, make your list, and then put out your potential and watch as that unfolds. Know that all is possible for you, including health improvement and miracles. Your other guides and masters that you have, angels, are also with you to ensure that you do not fail to achieve all that you're capable of and all that your soul contract calls for. And know that there will be happiness in spite of some of the more dire warnings in this message. Also, we recommend that you connect with the earth more and the internet less, especially the Epstein files, as they unfold and unfold and unfold, because it can be personally upsetting to read that. And although we encourage your knowledge of that, it's hard on the soul, especially being a light worker, to fathom such atrocities by people in positions of high power who are committing these crimes. And so it is your job, is the light is breaking through on your planet, is to hold the light and just know that many have been deceived, but many will be undeceived in time. So trust that all is in divine order, and the type and level of malignant behavior will shortly be seeing a radical accounting. Likewise, we see that there are other radical earth changes taking place, and it is again wise to create a garden space for yourself during your summer, or if you have good weather all year. Begin to look into communities that support community gardens if you should happen to be in a city or apartment. If you're a rental, of course, but those of you landowners think about communities of spirituality, of like-minded people where you have time to come together. It is time for Americans to stop the division and come together in this time of severe storms, a metaphor of truth, and to treat Mother Earth with great respect. She is reacting to global warming and also clearing her earthly garment of negative energies and so many warring energies on the planet. One way of clearing energetic war is to have earthquakes or severe storms, so be aware that these will be coming not only in America, but to many island nations around the Ring of Fire in the new year. And to be sure to make provision for yourself and your families, keep extra food on hand and all of your emergency lighting and, that kind of thing. So your spiritual families, travel is good if you can afford it. Sacred travel is always great. But even travel in the United States is a great deal more restricted from other countries. And this is not necessarily a good thing for the economy, but in light of the many earth changes, it will be a protective element to the changes that are coming. And so I will just give you a personal blessing and cleansing of your karma for the year 2025, so as to clear the old karma and cords away and set a purity of intent for your soul purpose in your heart to be living in the light of the 2026 energies. And as if we're turning another page, and that page is not a blank page, but it is a cutting of some karmic cords to relationships, people, and places that are no longer in your sphere of highest good. And this could be a personal situation, a political situation, or it could be both. So though it may be tumultuous and painful at times to give up such personal people and addictions, it allows for the new energy and the new conditions and the soil be ripe for the new seed to be planted. And so we have to clear away the leaves of debris to bring in your life and manifest more perfectly your soul alignment. So think now what it is that you would have me clear, be it anger, pain in your heart, any kind of grief, or any kind of situation that you no longer want or need. And then let me do a brief karmic clearing for you with the meditation. So imagine you're starting from your crown, and if you do Reiki, you can set your hands on your crown and then just let the light particles flow into your crown chakra, and to your eyes, your ears, your pineal gland, your eyelids, your ears again, your nose, your mouth, and down into your throat. And then let that celestial light of the Christ consciousness flow into your shoulders and down into your sternum, and then down into your heart. And the peace of the Christ consciousness enters into that area, the white light, to cleanse your own personal vessel and reset the heart chakra. Allow the shoulders to sink down and relax, but spine is erect and the feet are on the ground, channeling all the negative energy down into the solar plexus, your self-esteem, and then lower to the solar plexus and the sacral, and then down into the hips and through that, and then down through the root, the hips and the knees, and just let it flow, and let my white light cleanse every chakra, healing you now, and sending Reiki and healing all the way down through your feet and ankles and out through the heart line and into the earth. And then just imagine that I have cleansed you completely. And then just shake a bit, wake a bit up, and stretch yourself and give thanks. And if you need to take a break before we go into the predictions part of this, you can, or we can go directly into the predictions. But he says to be sure to take a nice walk after this download and ground some more, so that you don't feel disconnected or disheartened, and that connecting to nature is the way to ground any clearing of the chakras. So peace, peace, peace. I am with you, beloveds. This is Archangel Michael. Adonai. So would you like to take a brief break, or shall we continue with the predictions now? You can type in or unmute if you need to give me feedback. A minute break and then come back for the predictions. And Archangel Michael speaks on the New Year's predictions and prophecy for channeled in 2025 on the 28th. No, it was earlier than that. It's like the 20th or something. And this is my prediction that I receive every year from Archangel Michael since 2004, so 2004. So I've come here asking for guidance for myself and the world and the many new opportunities for the new year. And then I had some personal questions. And now I'm connecting to you, and I'm asking you to show me what it is that I need to know about America and the things that are to come this year for our viewers. And first thing I'm hearing is some words, terrorist attack, and I'm thinking, oh no, can you say it all, when this might happen, or something with the airplanes, or what is going on, Michael? And he says he's not going to say where it specifically might be, and that it is all in potential, so it can be mitigated with prayer, and it's not anything set as stone, but it has to do with Putin's objectives of the war in Ukraine, and he will use every ounce of his malignancy to intimidate the United States and Trump and everybody else that's involved. And there is a possibility, of course, of war in Europe as well. And so this is just a possibility. And there was something that he mentioned that I had tuned into, which was the Alaska earthquake. And it was a 7-point magnitude near the Alaskan coast, but it didn't form a tsunami, and it was hardly reported. But I had wondered, if that had anything to do with Putin, and he said yes. So some of these earth changes are easily manufactured and made because we have weapons that control weather. So I felt that there's danger still coming from Russia and Putin. And so this is my read on it, but I don't want to say that, this is definitely going to happen or anything. This is just something I was given, and hopefully it can be mitigated with diplomacy and them taking a different stance to the Ukrainian war, what right now it appears that they are giving away everything of Ukraine. And anyway, this is only a possibility, so I don't want you to take this literally, but those of you who pray for the world and pray for peace, just put out your best intentions, and hopefully this will not ever come to pass. But I do read his intentions are not good for either Ukraine or for the United States. So it's a fool's errand to get involved in business deals and everything, Michael is indicating. So he's now going into the earth changes, and of course there will be a continued flooding in Oregon, and this was given sometime earlier, and that did already come true. And he's telling me that we see flooding in my area, which we have prone to be flood. And then extreme weather impacts the East Coast with torrential blizzard-like conditions. And in the spring, unusual tornadic activity all over the place, and probably in the southwest where it usually is, but he didn't specify. So my advice concerning these kinds of predictions, it is not all doom and gloom, but Mother Earth is clearing the energy. And the other thing that happens is that when you're in a situation where you're traveling or you're contemplating traveling, going somewhere, use your pendulum over the map and do a read on that part of the map, and let your intuition guide you. If you get a yes, which is a circle, like this is how I use the pendulum, but just this is yes for me. And if it gives you a no and you're planning to go somewhere and you get a no, that means maybe don't get on that airplane or don't get on that plane at that time. You can always take travel insurance out and cancel the trip, but follow your instincts and your intuition, because these are general earth change predictions and general other types of predictions, which I really didn't want to give. I don't like being the bearer of any bad news. And, a lot of Diana's predictions came true with regard to, my old predictions with her. And if you've read any of my books, you know that we did see a lot of things come true. And it wasn't concerning earth changes. But Michael says that they're necessary, but the earth is shedding her crust in a way and making way for the new earth, which we don't have an exact timetable on that. But the new earth is going to be comprised of smaller, intimate communities, hopefully of mostly light workers, and be free of fear and crime and disease. So we look forward to that day when that really happens. So he goes on to say the quote-unquote cloud, where everything is supposedly living in a cloud, is a danger because they're creating these data centers everywhere, and they will increase electric bills. So if you're in the position to acquire solar energy or other types of more economic energy, that would be a good thing to do. He's always pro-wind and pro-solar. They're not the most efficient, but they're much better than letting the energy companies double or triple your bills over the winter. And so there's an excessive need for electric particularly, and it's all storing your photographs and your material in a cloud somewhere. So we see increasing prices and difficulty from middle and low income people, and the policy of tariffs will be tested in the Supreme Court. Though I cannot predict an outcome, I already see that there is some turbulence in the stock market, so you may want to make more conservative investments. He's saying something about the U.S. Treasury bonds, and the travel industry is going to be pretty hard hit this year, with all the restrictions coming in and going out of the country with regard to citizenship, passports, and the like. And they're going to be checking your phones a lot, so just be careful that you don't have anything. Delete some of the apps off your phone for a while if you have to, as you go through customs or whatever. But he's predicting a little bit of a downturn in the economy too. And he is saying now, it is so tragic what we are seeing with regard to immigrants who have been here 20 and 30 years, who own businesses and are being swept away, locked up in freezing conditions, given almost no food or water, and deprived of sleep for days on end with no legal representation. People who have come to the United States seeking citizenship after pursuing it for so long, and we see that ICE will eventually be able to be prosecuted in class action lawsuits, it is hoped, at some further point in time in the future, for we see these as illegal actions, and they do not represent your constitutional rights. Particularly regarding the rights of search and seizure, there must be a warrant before there is ever search and seizure, and Trump has broken every law. We see excessive greed of the Trump family and them taking advantage of all kinds of so-called business deals and cryptocurrency in exchange for deals with Russia and other questionable resources, such as the so-called new fusion energy, which is extremely dangerous and costly. It would be better to invest in wind and solar, and that would be perfect and affordable, and make it affordable for every American household. However, that is not the policy right now, so he feels that that needs to be looked into, the excess advantage of these business deals. And healthcare, what can you say about healthcare, Michael? We would want to put out the expense of every area of healthcare, and it will be impacted with the new budget, and people will begin to have the same horror stories of not being covered for cancer or diabetes or some other chronic disease that your society suffers from. And the research will continue to be cut rather ruthlessly. What do you think about the vaccination cuts, and especially for the younger children, and some of the vaccine information? Will it be corrected under RFK? He knows a lot about the COVID vaccine and how it was marketed and falsely pretended to be safe. However, there will be young children that may need increasing care due to lack of vaccination and spreading such diseases as measles and chickenpox and the like. So some of it is good, but some of it will have a detrimental effect on the younger children. But some of them are already proven vaccines are totally safe. But speaking of the mRNA gene therapy, it will be investigated under RFK. And although we see the gene therapy will be investigated, and so we hope that they can come up with credible source material that will prove them to be dangerous and take them off the market. And we see increasing tensions with Venezuela, and Trump has intent to make war on that country. And there is an increasing danger, of course, of Putin invading, or just, slightly invading with drones and such, Poland and the Eastern Bloc countries, because he has designs on them too. So it would be not wise to make a deal with Russia, giving him more and more land for its aggression. We cannot say for sure, but we feel that Congress may rein that in and not agree to go to war for oil. We see that whatever Putin does, if there were a peace accord drawn up tomorrow, he would not adhere to it at all. But there are secret deals between Trump and Putin, and he will not adhere to any type of peace plan, but rather continue. He wants the borders for him, and Trump is wanting more resources from the Ukraine. And that is all it is. It's a land grab on the part of both these leaders. But he will gain territory anyway, but he has intimate knowledge of Trump's former dealings with Jeffrey Epstein, and that is a threat that's always hanging over Trump. And he also wants just to do business with Russian capital of Moscow. So the connection, Putin and Kremlin have dirt on Trump, really can't put sanctions on or allow funding, but the United States government has given some funding to Ukraine, as the Congress allocated. As Mother Mary has continued to tell you, that bloody Putin's time is ending shortly. He will die in office, and there will be appointed replacement, but the people will still like to have an election, and when the election is held, sometime in 26 or 7, that person will no longer see need to continue a fruitless war on Ukraine. And Ukraine will take a long time to rebuild, but we see it as a free and sovereign nation. So your prayers have been heard. What about personal stock market investments and so on, Michael, and the economy, which people are concerned? He says, with an unsteady economy and sharp drops in the market in the year to come, there will be modest gains in all blue chip sectors. We say that some volatile sectors like cryptocurrency and others that Trump owns, there will be high volatility, to stay away from those. And if you feel safer just drawing interest from a savings account in your Fidelity or whatever account you use, that might be a better choice altogether. We also see that people should try to either pay off their mortgage now or sell the house if they have a problem where they think that they cannot afford to continue with the mortgage. And if they do this in time, they will be able to save their home. And buying the home outright, if they can use some of their retirement funds for such a thing, that would be one way to solve the problem. But we do see that there is a great recession possibly about to happen. And rather than letting that happen, Trump will be stubborn and he will not want to give in. But his days are also numbered due to health. And so the health and the Epstein files, we do see that as a combined stress on his health, and we do see a possibility of impeachment as well as the dereliction of duty to the American people. So in all those areas he is failing and will continue to fail until he is either removed by the 25th Amendment or a health crisis comes to him. Either way, it's going to be very stressful for him, and he's going to try to blame everyone but himself. And the fact is that the tariffs have no legal authority, but we don't know which way the Supreme Court will rule on that at the moment. And after the public is acquainted with all the Epstein files, they will be so horrified that they will see the criminal nature in him, at least most will, and then there will be a cry from the people to do something about this criminal in office and what he's done to our democracy. Jack Smith's testimony is very relevant, very telling. There was foul play in the current election, I confirm, of 2024. If that were to come out in the wash, that would also need to be investigated. So he is corrupt, and one of the most corrupt presidents in the American history. There will be a massive sway toward the Democratic blue wave. Also, though, they will try to hack this one too. So we have to be on our guard and vote our conscience. And I'm not saying blue or red. I'm not telling you what to think or do in terms of this, but he is presenting a threat even to, other people that may not have political persuasions toward the blue. So there's going to be a massive blue wave in districts that particularly Republicans control. And we see it in 2026, late 26, an impeachment that will be possibly successful, or his health will decline. And I just don't see him in office beyond 2026. And it will be finally the will of the people. Can you tell us anything now about the health insurance bill that is before the House and the Senate? In the new year, what will happen? And the premiums and all, how that is going to affect people that have an illness, etc. We see there is a desire that some tax credits will be given, as well as some payment of insurance companies, and they may come to a compromise on that. We see and hope for your continued prayers for the people of Gaza, who are not getting U.S. aid and or food aid as much as they should be. And please give generously to them and to the people of Ukraine, if you can and are able, after you're spending on your family this Christmas. But many people may feel spent out after the high expenses of Christmas and food this year. Again, this year we ask you always to keep others in your heart and form to communities of light where you are and gather in meditation. For this is the way I come to you and work with you through Marcia's word and through the Christ energies that she emits, along with those in her groups and associations and communities and across the world. We see a blessed good new year for all of you gathered here, and it will be a little rough with the earth changes, so please tune in and use your own inner guidance when you sense these things, because it is rather easy to tune in to where you are standing and ask inner way for your divine direction to know what to do should you encounter an earth change. But have your emergency kits prepared, my beloveds. And then he's saying, yes, it'll be a little rough for all concerned, especially in politics and the earth changes, but that is where the birthing of the new earth is happening. As a mother enters into the full spectrum of birth, she enters into the full spectrum of color. And you will not see anything like it in movie theaters. For the movie 2012, if you remember, that was just a foreshadowing of the great earth changes that are to come. We emphasize that living in the community and your families is the wave of the new earth, and educating children at home is the wave of the new earth. So tend to one's own health through the use of herbals and intuitive practices, plus the newer lasers and inventions that are coming your way. And maybe the doctor's office will still be open through RFK. We will hope to see a better health plan evolving, but we'll wait to see what happens. And that know in your hearts that all will still be well, and we put the intention that there will be no war in 2026, and that will not be allowed. But we ask continued prayer for peace for Gazans and Israeli people and the Ukraine and now Venezuela. And so we ask that we would pray for peace each day that you can. And we wish you all a blessed New Year and Christmas time. And when you look at the tree, at the star or the angel on the top, remember that you too came down like an angel from the heavens. And like Christ, you were born to serve humanity in this era of awakening. I am Archangel Michael, and I bid you peace this day. So that concludes our New Year's message with predictions. And I'm going to close out the meeting now. And unless you would like to privately talk.